we have seen about to execute SQL task, okay, how to create table, how to insert the data, how to read a single record, and how to read a multiple records, okay, and how we can read the data, how we can read multiple records from a table, and how we can push the data into a SQL table. Okay. Now in today's class, using execute SQL task, so let me explain about how we can execute a store procedure. Okay. Okay. So in the last class, we have seen how to read the data, multiple records from the table, and insert the data into the another database table. Now in today's class, let us see. So let us see the sample here. Let me see why it is. So let me see in the DBSI database. Okay, we have the under the programmability. So we have the list of procedures. Okay. So let me go for list of store procedures. Okay, so we have some list of store procedures here. So let me call some simple store procedure. So let us say one store procedure with name USB without talk. Okay, so let me go and right click and click on modify. Okay, so this is a store procedure, simple store procedure. Okay, without any params, without any parameters. Okay, now let me see. Let me explain that how we can create a store procedure and how we can call that. So instead of using the existing one, let me create a new query. So let us see that I will create a store procedure like this. Okay. So create procedure. Okay. So let us say USB sample. Okay. Sample one. Okay. So this store procedure does not have any output. Okay. So as begin and end, this is the syntax for creating a store procedure. And let us say I want to drag multiple columns. Okay. So I want to call it table data here, PNP underscore master. Okay. So I'm just creating this stored procedure. Okay, now let me go for and write sample, or let's say ESP PNP underscore sample. Okay. Now let me create a stored procedure. If the stored procedure was created, and how we can execute this stored procedure from the database side is we can go and write exec. So this is how we can execute a stored procedure. Now you can see it is giving me the some 21 records data. Okay. So here also, so if you want to execute the same store procedure in the SSIS from the SSIS package, so what you can do is, so you can go on drag and drop the execute SQL task. Okay. So instead of directly writing the select query, just we are replacing that select query with a store procedure. Okay, open this execute SQL task. So a store procedure without params. Okay, let us say without any parameter. Okay. Now the store procedure is present in which database? That is the DBSI4 database. So let me create a connection to the DBSI4. Now you can go and see. Let me create a connection to the DBSI4. So let me write the Balaji-PC. Okay, and let us select the database names. Let us say DBSI4. Okay, click on OK. So we have created a connection. Now what you want to do, you want to just execute this tool first, you know. So whatever the execute command is there, you can go on just paste it here. Okay. So we are just executing the store procedure. And now this store procedure, by executing this store procedure, is it giving you the number of, is it giving the result set? Okay. Is it giving the result set? Yes. It is giving me the result set. And in that result set, is only one record is there or multiple records is there? Multiple records. Then go to this, and here, yes, the result set is, it is not null. It is giving me some output. Then it is giving the single row? No, it is giving me the full result set, multiple rows. Okay. And when the full result set, if you select the result set as full, then we have to go to the result set option. So since it is a number of records more than single record, we have to give the name as, we have to store this data into a table object. So that's why result name is 0, and you can go on create a new table name, new variable, or new variable of table object. Now I want to create a variable. So let us say sp table object. So I'm creating some variable name with a variable underscore sp underscore table object. Now what is the type of this? It is not an integer, not a string, it is a object. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we are getting the data by executing this store procedure. We are getting multiple records, full result set. Since it is a full result set 0, we have to specify the result set name as 0, and we are putting the capturing the entire 21 record data into this object, table object, variable table object. That's it. Now after this, if I want to loop through the records of this table object, then as usual we can go and use the for each loop container. Okay, and pass this output to the for each loop container, and go to this, go to the collection. Since we are looping through the active database object, since we are looping through the object, okay, we have to select it as ADO enumerator. ADO means active database object. Now in which variable? That is variable sp table object. What we have to do is, so this contains the multiple columns records. Okay, this contains the multiple columns and multiple records. No? So here we have to specify, if you want to retrieve the first column data. So here the first column data index position will be start with the 0. Okay. So since you want to read this first column data, now you can inside the for each loop container. What this for each loop container will do is it will connect to the table object and it will get this in that object. We have the columns now. So this is the data present inside that object now. So we have the columns now. So in order to fetch the data of first column, so let me store the first column data in one of the already existing variable, that is variable employed. Okay. So index 0 is first column data. I want to store this first column data, okay, in this variable. Now let us say I have the employee name. I want to store the employee name. That is employee name is the index. And after that I want to store the data of choice. Now let us see any DOC variable is there. Now if it is not there, let me go and create a new variable. So I want to store the variable DOC. Okay. It has to store the date time now. So we have one of the data type called date time is there and give some default value 1/1/. Okay, so my 0, 1, 2 is first three columns data I want to store in these three variables. If I want to store the branch ID information also, okay, now let us say branch ID is what is the index position of the branch ID? This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let me store the branch ID information in another variable. So let me go and see v underscore branch ID. Okay, it is of integer data type. Default value. Let me give it some default value. Now it is not the index position 3, it is index position 5. Okay, you can specify the index position. Which column data you want to retrieve. So that column position also you can specify like this. Okay. So now I am retrieving the 4 columns data. Okay, and which columns data? Here I have specified the index position like this. Okay, click on that. Now what this container will do, it will connect to that object variable. It will send one by one record inside. It will send one by one record inside. Okay. Now, so let me see. What I want to do is let me go and push this data. Okay, sit to another table, and before pushing the data I want to see that I want to display the values present in that variables. Okay, I want to display the values and I want to know that whether the for each loop container is doing the row by row processing or not. Okay, so using scriptors I can display the values present in the variables. Okay, now let us see how we can do that. So which variables you want to display? I want to display the values present in the variable employee, variable employee day, variable branch ID, okay, and variable DOH. Okay, so this is the 4 values I want to display. Okay, click on. Now go to the after selecting the list of variables you want to display. Okay, after selecting the list of variables you want to read only variable. Okay, now go to this, edit script. Okay, just before pushing the data, I just want to display the data present in that variable by using this script tags. So yes, it will open one Visual Studio window. So now we can see. So if we want to display the values present in that variables, now we can go and use this. Okay. So what is the variable? Let us say global dot uh, message box. So we have this message box dot show. Okay. Display this. So I'm using the message box method to display the values. So inside this message box dot show, we can specify the variables dts dot variables. Okay, which variable you want to display? You want to display the variable employee ID first. So you can go out to get this employee. So here we can write the variable name. Okay, either we can write the variable name. That is, first of all, I want to display this variable. It is variable employee. Okay, dot value dot toString. Okay, like this. Okay, and after this, now let me give some variable label name to this variable. Let us say empid. Okay, colon space. Okay, so let me plus mark. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are using the message box dot show, okay, to display the employee ID variable. Okay, whatever the value present in this variable, no, okay, I want to display this value. Okay, for that value I have just given some label name. Okay, so like this, let me display the all the variable names. Okay, all the values of the variable names. Let me have plus paste it. Okay, plus, since I have four variables, let me specify the next one. I want to display the employee name. Okay, next one I want to display the date of job. Okay, next one I want to display the branch ID. Okay, like this. Now here, either you can specify the variable name or you can give the variable position also. Now you can see employee name is in which position? Branch ID is 0, DOJ is 1, employee is 2, employee name is 3. Okay, so here we can go and specify the, okay, let us say variable employee name is coming in the third index position. DOJ, so branch ID is 1 and DOJ is 1 and branch ID is 0. Okay, either you can specify the variable name or you can just refer the index position of the corresponding columns, corresponding variables. Okay, like this. Now that's it. Now let me build the query. Okay, let me build the syntax, check for the syntax error. Okay, now save it and close it. Okay, just check for the syntax error. Syntax is good. Now save it and close it. Okay, so here we are using this Visual Studio C Sharp window. Here you can see Microsoft Visual Studio C Sharp. We have just written a simple C Sharp code to display the values present in this variable. Okay, now click on OK. Now using the script task, I'm just displaying the values present in that variable. Okay. Now after this, what I want to do, I want to push the data into any other table. Now let me go for and use this execute SQL task. After displaying the data, I want to push the data into. So let me create. So here we have taken ID, name, DOJ, and branch ID. No? Let me create. Let me connect to the DB size 7. Okay. Let me create a table with this name. With this following IDs. So table underscore DOGP. Okay. So let me have some table here. Ready. 20. Okay. Let us say DOJ date. Let me go for branch ID as integer. Okay. So I'm taking this one. Okay. Now let me go for SSIS. Now I have taken a execute SQL task. In that I will write a insert command. So inserting the data into, so it will do the row by row insert. Insert data into destination table. Like this. Okay. Now where is your table is present in the DB SSIS database? What is the table name? So the table name is table underscore DOJ employee. So here you can go and write insert into table name values. So what are the values you want to insert? You want to insert the values which are coming from the for each loop container one by one. Okay. So the for each loop container will send row by row data, and those values you want to push into this table with these four columns. Okay, so four question marks. And how we can pass values to this four question mark is, so we have to go to the parameter mapping, click on add, 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 add. So we have four question marks. So four parameters I have added. First question mark. So here the first value is employee. Now let me select the employee here. So like we have done earlier, we have to select the employee. Input direction, data type it can be long, and parameter position is 0. First question mark. This value is for first question mark. Next one is employee name. This one is for input long. Data type is varchar. This is for second question mark. So parameter position is 1. Third one, date of join. Okay. Now this is also input. What is the data type? So it can be date. So we have something like, let me select DB date. Okay. Now we have one more thing called, one more parameter, that is the branch ID. You can go and map the branch ID. So let it be integer or log. Okay, whatever it is. Okay. So large integer, you can have the large integer also. You can go and take it. Okay. Parameter position. This is third parameter. This is for fourth parameter. Like this. Okay. Let me click on. That's it. Sorry. That's it. So DOJ. Okay. So the result set will be done. So we are just inserting the data. So there won't be any result set. So it should be done. We are just passing the parameter values. Now let us see, it will do the row by row processing or not. And before pushing the data, we can see the values present in these variables using the script task. Now I want to execute these two as a separate unit. So put them inside a sequence container. Okay, now let me execute at the container level. Now let us see. So with this sp underscore, we are executing a store procedure and we are putting the data into a table object, and that table object we are putting it inside a for each loop container. So in order to do the row by row processing, now you can see that we are able to display the first. So using the script task, we are trying to display the values here. Now you can see employee ID, employee name for each, date of join, along with the type, branch ID 100. Okay. Now you can see that. So let us see what is the error. So I think problem is with the date of join. So unsupported data type on parameter binding to. So here from the SSAS, if I go and see from the SSAS, so the data is coming it as date time. Okay, from the value from the table source table, it is coming it as date time, and here we have declared it as date. Okay, so maybe because of that reason it is failing. Now let me go and see. Let us see how we can correct this issue. So one thing is you can go to this when you are inserting the data. So let us say parameter values instead of db date. Let me select and try with date format. Okay, so here in your destination table it is date is there. So let me try to pass the date value here also. Let us see whether this will work or not. Okay, now using this, let me go. Let it be like that. Let me execute this. So we are getting the first record. Now you can see we are able to pass the value. Okay, first once the first value is inserted, now you can see many records are inserted in this table. Now the for each container is setting row by row or not, you can easily check now. Now you can see first record is passed. Okay. Now again the second record is coming. Employee to Syed, date of join and branch ID. Now you can see one by one row will get inserted like this. Okay. Now we can go and see how many rows are there in this table now. I think 4 or 5 will be there. Okay. So like that, okay, the for each loop container will do the row by row processing of the data. Okay, it will pass all the 21 records one by one. Okay, like this. You can go and see all the 21 records pushed into this. So this is how we can execute a store procedure. We can get the output and put it in a table, and we can push it into any other database object. Okay, like this. So suppose if your store procedure has parameter, then how we can execute? Now let us see. So let me alter this store procedure. Okay. Now let us see. Let me alter this store procedure. How we can alter the store procedure is we can go for alter. Okay, let me provide some parameters. Okay. Now let us say how we can provide the parameters is we can go and specify at the rate empid integer or at the rate empd var. Let us say something like 30. Okay. Now let us go and see that where. So here also I'm going to execute. Here also going to changing the query. So where emp id equal to at the rate emp id, whatever the value of passing as parameter, I have to, it has to take this, or emp name equal to. So this table has one more column called emp name column also, or emp name equal to at the rate emp name. Okay, like this. So instead of one condition, I'm giving the or condition. Okay, so that any one of them can be true. Now let me alter this. Okay. Now how we can execute the store with the parameters is one comma. You can give any name. Let us say neighbors. So if a store position has parameters, it will execute. We have to execute like this. We have to pass the parameter values like this. Just a minute. So let us see how we can call the. So this is how we can execute a store position with parameters. So we have to specify the store position name and after that parameter names. Okay, parameter values. Now let us go and modify the. Okay, so let us go and modify here also. So right now, so this store position is having the parameters. No? So right now, how what I want to do is I don't want to hard code the values. I can go and specify it as question mark comma question. Okay, and for this question mark, how I can pass the parameters. This is the first task in my package. Okay, now how can I pass this is we have this parameter section for our package. No? I can go to this parameter section. Okay, now let me pass the parameter values from here. Now you can see I have gone to the package parameters and I have specified the let us create some parameters here. So let us say p underscore APID. Let me create one more parameter for parameter employee name. It is of integer data type, it is of varchar data type. Let me specify it string and you can provide the values from here. Whichever values you will provide here, no? It will take those values. Okay, value 1 at Krishna. Now let me save it or you can directly go to the control flow. Now to this store procedure, okay, where I'm executing the store procedure, I have specified two commas. So this is for we are saying that this store procedure has two parameters, question mark, comma, question mark. And the values for these question marks, we have to pass it from the parameter mapping section. Go and click on add, and whatever the parameters we have specified there, no, those are showing here. Okay. Now let me specify the for the first question mark. Let me specify this one of the parameter ID log. Now let us give the function as. So since it has two parameters, I am passing the second one more parameter called employee name. This is also input. Let us specify the varchar data type as varchar. And let us specify the position as 1. Okay, we have two question marks. So that's why two parameters I have specified here. Okay, go to the general section. So we are executing a store position now with two parameters. And when we execute this, there is a chance of getting the multiple records also. No? So the remaining procedure will be same. Okay, so those three records will be captured in a table object. Okay, so we have passed the parameter values in the general section. We have specified two question marks for these two question marks. These two parameters I am passing the value from this parameter section. Since this store procedure may result multiple values or a single value. Okay, so better to have a multiple values. Better to think that better multiple values. So result set will be full result set and we are capturing those data in a table object. And using the for each loop container, I want to loop through the data one by one. Now let me go and execute this. So it will this package now will take the values of parameter values as input parameters and it will give me the data for 1 and Krishna. Now you can see employee 1 is coming. Okay, now you can see Krishna also is coming. Krishna also is coming. Okay. Now we can go on, go to the destination. Now let me first of all delete the data. So earlier it has 21 records, now it should have the 25 records. If I select also, it should have the 21 plus 3, 24 records it should have. Okay, like this. Or if you want to check it one more time, let us delete the data. Okay. So after deleting it, let me go and see. Let me execute it one more time. So this is how we can execute a store procedure without parameters, with the parameters also. Okay. So this store procedure will execute for the values we have given there. You can see it will have the three records. Suppose if I execute for, now let us see if I go and change the parameter values. Now let us say I want to change it to 2 or something like, let us say something like 6. So I'll use the parameter name as. Now it will go and execute this store procedure for the given parameter values. So earlier 1, 3, 13 is there. Now let us see, it will go and execute it for 2 and employee name as Stitch. Okay. Now we can go and see. You can see 2 is coming as well as the employee name with the GQ data also is coming into this. This is about how we can execute a store procedure with multiple parameters. Okay. Now let us say that if my store procedure contains a output value, if my store procedure contains a output value, means output parameter also. So by default, every parameter is an input parameter. Okay. So let me create a store procedure with output parameter. So how we can create a procedure with output parameter is create procedure. So let us say emp underscore having the output. Okay. Now let us say one of the parameter is empid. This is the input parameter. So when I pass the ID value, it should give me the employee name as output. Okay. So I am declaring one more parameter. Let us say empty name. This data type is fat here, but this is not a normal input parameter. This is the output parameter. Okay. So if I pass ID as input, it should give me the name as output. So let us go and specify it as output. Okay. If it is output, we have to specify like this. For by default, every parameter is input. So for input parameters, no need to specify like input. By default, everything is input parameters. Now let us say as begin. What is my intention is I will pass the ID value as input. Okay, I will pass the ID value as input. Okay, and I need to get the employee name as output. Okay. Now let us see. So when I pass the ID value as input, so I should get the employee name as output. So this is the one of the column name is employee name. And this employee name I need to capture in this variable, in this parameter. Since it is output parameter, I want to capture like this. Now both are same thing. Let me specify it as name. Okay. So I will pass the employee as input, which will give me the employee name, and that employee name I want to capture in this variable, in this parameter. Now let me go and give some name for it. So give some name for this name as same as ap underscore t. Okay, so here I cannot directly give the alias name here. It's okay because we are just putting the data in this variable, and I'm writing one more statement to give a column name to that variable value. That's it. Okay. Now this is how we can create a store procedure with output parameter. Now I have created it. Now let me see how we can execute in the store SQL side. Execute store procedure name. Now what is the intention is I will pass the employee ID as input and it should give me the employee name as output. No? So if I directly go and execute like this, now it is telling that hey, this store procedure has one more parameter which you was not supplied, which you are not supplying. But my intention is why should I supply? I will pass employee ID as input and the store procedure has to give me the name as output, employee name as output. Okay, but it is asking that hey, you are not passing the employee name. So in this case, actually what is happening is the store procedure is giving us the output value, but nobody is there from outside to capture that, to catch that. What does that mean is, so somebody is throwing the ball from inside the well. Okay, somebody is throwing the ball from inside the well. Okay, but nobody is there in the outside to catch that ball. Okay, somebody is throwing the ball from inside the well and nobody is there to capture that ball from outside the well. Okay, so here this store procedure also is giving me or throwing me the employee name as output, but nobody is there outside to capture that. Okay, so let us see how we can capture that. So in order to capture that, let me declare one more variable here. Now let us see key name. I'm declaring one variable varchar 30 and whatever the store procedure is returning, no, I want to capture in this variable as output. Okay, I have to specify it as output variable. That's it. Okay, so that we are passing the input value as 1 and I am expecting the employee ID 1 name. Actually, the store procedure is returning the employee name, but whatever the store procedure is returning, no, I'm capturing that name in this variable. That's it. Now let us see how we if I execute it. Now you can see it is saying that employee ID 1 name is Faraz. Suppose if I give employee ID 5, it is saying that employee ID 5 name is Malayalam language. Suppose if I give the employee ID 10, so there is no employee ID 10 is not there. Let me go for something like 15. So now you can see some 21 employee name is Chichu is there. Okay, so we don't have data for in this table. We don't have data for 15 or 16 or 17. Let me go and see. So after 7 directly 11 is there. After 13 directly 18 is there. Okay, so because of that it is not giving me the employee names. Okay, so if I go and specify it as 12, it will give me the employee name. Since the employee 12 is there, so it is giving me the employee name as 2. Okay, so this is how we can execute a store procedure. Okay, if we have a output parameter. So like exec employee name, store procedure name, and the input value and the output value. Now how we can execute the same thing in the SSIS side is same. You have to copy the same like this. Now let me go and see. So let me copy the same thing. paste it here one more time. So here right now this one, let me go for and name it as SP with output parameter. Okay. Now how we can execute this? So we have to pass the value. Okay, I'm the same thing. I'm executing from SSIS example, and wherever hard coded value is there, so let me replace with question mark. It serves as question mark, comma, question mark, and the second one is a output parameter. Okay, like this. Now go to this parameter mapping. So first one is employee ID, second one is employee name. Okay, now let us go to these parameters. So let me don't pass any value here. Okay, I just want to pass the employee ID value as to. Now go to this. So here let us go to the parameter mapping. Okay, now this is the employee ID is the input parameter. I'm passing it as 0 position. Okay. Now employee name. So this is not an input parameter. This is an output parameter. So you can go and select it as output parameter. Okay, and it is returning the value as varchar. That is for first question mark. Okay, second question mark 0. So just specified it as output parameter. Okay. Now let us go and see. This is giving me the output parameter. Now is it giving me the full result set or single result set? It is giving me the single result. No. So when I execute this store procedure, how many records I am getting? So I am getting a single column and single value. I am getting a single column and single value. So better you can go for and have it as result set as single row. Result set as single row. And what is the column name? So here, since it is a single row, we can specify the column name here. Let us specify the column name as okay, emp underscore name. Emp underscore name. Okay, we can specify the column name, and this value I want to store it in one of the variable called employee. That's it. Okay. So here what I am doing is I am executing the store procedure, and we are getting the output as single row, and this single row I am putting in one of the result. Okay, since it is a single row, the column name is emp name. I am specifying the column name here also, emp underscore name, and now you can see variable v underscore name. Okay, now I want to display that. Now let us see. Now what it is telling is since it is output value, so you cannot use the parameter name here. Let me specify the variable name. So you are just capturing the value. No? Let me specify it as variable v underscore e. Okay. So result set, we are putting the data into one of the emp name, that also we are capturing in this variable name. Okay. So here we are passing the same variable here. It can be multiple variables, but here I am passing the same variable underscore e. Okay. And in the result set, we are capturing this value in the same variable. Okay. Now let us go to this. Now these are all unnecessary for now. Okay. Because we are getting only the single value. No? These are all unnecessary. We can dash directly display the variable. So it is just giving me the employee name which is present in this variable called v underscore variable name. Click on OK. Go to the end screen. Just display that value. So message box dot show dts dot variables, which variable value is a, you can give the variable name or variable position dot value dot. Okay. Now let me save it. Okay. Close it. Okay. So what we are doing is just we are executing a store procedure with output parameter. Okay. Now you can see what we have done is we have execute the store procedure, and second one I have specified as output parameter. Okay. From the parameter mapping section, since we have two question marks, so I have passed the employee parameter value here, and I'm capturing the whatever the name. Okay. So I'm providing the one more variable as output parameter. Whatever the store procedure is returning the employee name. No, I want to capture that, okay, value in this variable. Okay, that's it. And in the result set, so this is giving me only one value. No? That's why I have specified it as single row. And in the result set, I have specified it as, so this is going, this store procedure is giving me the column name as emp name as output. So I want to capture the value present in that column name into one of the variable called v underscore name. And after that, I am displaying the value using the script task. And I put use these two, I put inside a sequence container. Now let me go and execute this container. So if I pass employee as 2, it will give me the employee 2 name as Syed. Okay. Now you can go and cross check in the database whether this employee 2 is, this also is giving me the name as Syed or not. Okay, suppose if I give the 21, it will give me the name as, now you can see Jiju. So here also if I go and give the name as 21, so from the parameter list, if I pass this value as 21, okay, and if I go and execute this, it will give me the parameter to employee 21 name as Jiju. Okay, this is how we can pass a stored procedure which contains a output parameter like this. Okay, now let us see if the same store procedure has a written value. If the same store procedure has a written value also, how we can execute that. Okay. Now let us see that in the same store procedure, I will write one condition like, so for if this name, okay, so if I pass 21, this is giving some value, no? If I pass 21, so this column is giving some value, no? So what I want to do is if, okay, this name, okay, the if is not null, okay, then I want to return 1, else return 0. So I'm putting some return value also here. Okay. So for every for any employee, if this employee has a record in this table, okay, if this employee has a record in this table, then it will be not null, no? So 21 has a record, it is giving some employee name. Suppose if I go and specify 210, I know that employee 210 is not there in my table. Now you can see it is going to return me a null value. Okay. So if this name is not null, return me a value as 1. If this is null, if the name is null, return me the 0 value. Okay, that is what I want to specify in this store. Now let me alter this with the return value also. Okay. Now I am altering the store procedure which contains a return value, output value as well as return value also. Okay. Now how to execute this if it contains a return value, how to execute a store procedure and how to see the return value. Okay. So If you have a output parameter, we can just capture that in a variable. Similarly, if I have a return value, so to capture that return value also, let me declare one more variable. Okay? And let us go on copy this where you can put it, where you can capture the return values before the store position name. You have to specify like this. Before the store position name, we have to specify like this. And let me select the return value also. Select at the rate RE. Now you can see what I have done is I have declared a variable to capture the return value. Okay, and I have specified this return value before the store positioning. Where we can capture it before the store positioning, we can capture it. And after that, I am displaying the value present in this variable. Now you can say for employee 21, employee name is not null and the return value is 1. Okay. So here let me give some column name as RET value. Now you can see we are having this name and now return value is 1. Suppose if I give 210, now this won't contain the return name, then the return value will be 0. Okay. So this is how we can execute in the store procedure SQL side. Then how we can execute in the store procedure side SSIS side is copy this and let me alter my package. Now here let me go and say, so we have to specify the same thing, but we have to put return value also now. Now let me replace these hard coded values. Okay. So in place of return value, question mark, ID value, employee ID value, use question mark, employee name value, use question mark. So we have to pass 3 parameters here. Okay, 3 question mark, 3 parameters. Now go to the parameter mapping. Okay, now let us see. So first parameter, yes, input. Okay, and for second parameter, so this is output variable. I want to capturing one of the variable. Now let me add for return value also, since we have 3 question marks. Let me add one more return value. Okay, to capture the return value, let me declare a new variable. Let me store it in one of the new variable. Let us say v underscore return. Okay, let me specify it as integer. Okay, let me make it as some default value as 0. Now this return value is input parameter? No. Output parameter? No. It is a return value, no? Now we can go and specify it as return value. Okay, so this is not input, not output, this is a return value. And you can go and capture inside a integer or long, whatever you want. Okay, you can go and specify it as a numeric or large integer or small integer, whatever you want. Parameter position is, what is the parameter position? So we have 3 question marks here. What is the first question mark? This one. So here we are specifying the return value, no? So the parameter position is 0. Here for the return value, parameter position is 0. Okay. And for the employee name, employee ID, it will be 1. The employee name, it will be 2. Okay. So based upon this order, we have to give the parameter position. This is for return value. This is for employee ID. This is for employee name. And go and say 0, 1, 2 like this. Okay. Understood? Okay. Now after passing these values, now we have to specify the result set. Okay. I want to capture in this variable name, employee name is series output. I want to capture in this variable name and in the general section. So it is going to give me the single row. Let us specify the single row. But don't worry about the return value. The return value, since it is a not output, not input, it is a return value, no? It will be automatically get returned. Okay. We just need to display that, that's it. Now let us go inside the script task. Let me select the variable which contains a return value. So that is v underscore return. So I'm adding one more variable here. V return, v name. Let me go to this and add the return value also. So here let me add the return value also here. So this is for emp id or emp name. Okay. Now the variable position is 1 now. You can go and see it is present in the first one is written and second one is 0 and 1 employee name. So here also you can go and specify the employee name or you can go and give the position also like this. Now let me copy this. So I need to display the return value also, no? So plus, so here return value, this value is 0. Save it, close it. Now you can go and see. So we have specified the store position name and result set as single row, and since it is giving me the single row output, okay, and we are capturing the result, okay, in the employee name, okay, and passing parameter values, we are passing the three parameters: input, output, and return. Okay, like this. Now let me go and execute this. Now you can see we are giving the employee name as 1, value as 0. Let me call with the variable names since it is reversing the values. So let me call with the variable name v underscore return v underscore. Or you have to give the complete name, not the just a variable. You have to copy it from the user name. Okay. User underscore double quotes v. It should not be simple vname. It should be user colon colon vname. Similarly for this return value, so let me copy this entire username. Okay, like this. Okay. Save it. Okay. Close it. Now let me go and execute this. We are passing the parameter ID 21. Okay. So it will go. It is going and giving that for the parameter 21. What is the employee name and the corresponding return value. Now you can see employee name is 0, return value is 1. Suppose if I pass the parameter value as 210 or something like 100 or 200. So employee 200 won't be there in this database table. Now if I go and see, employee name will be null and return value will be 0. I can see employee name is null and return value is 0 like this. Okay, clear. That's it. So this is how we can execute a store procedures with output parameter with a return value. Okay, with multiple parameters like this.